Yes, let's start today's session. So in the last lecture, we were discuss about how to download Python software and install. So we have explained clearly what are the steps required to download Python software and install. So there are different ways to write Python code and execute. Okay. So this is the last session explanation. So what are the different ways to write Python program and execute? I have shown clearly using interactive mode, using script mode, using Python ideally, and using PyCharm editor. So the moment when we go to interactive mode, so you just open Python ideally, you can try to type some Python logic and press enter, you will get output. So, but we don't get any intelligence options. Okay. So we don't get any suggestions. So as a new to Python programming, so you need to take care of everything syntactical rules and regulations in interactive window as well as script mode as well as Python ideally. The moment when we use PyCharm editor, I explained clearly when we use a proper editor like PyCharm editor. So as a beginner to the Python programming, you don't get any confused and you can able to write Python program properly using PyCharm editor. Okay. So that's what I strongly recommend to use PyCharm editor while writing Python programming. So already we have discussed in the last lecture how to download PyCharm editor and how to create a Python project using PyCharm editor. So what are the benefits you feel in PyCharm editor? I explained. But already I have created project in PyCharm editor so that directly today I'm going to open PyCharm editor now. So in that we what we create a project in the last lecture, that project I'm going to open in PyCharm editor. But before going to continue from here onwards, like PyCharm editor, so who are new to this session, especially who are new to this session, you are attending, this is the first session. Actually, this is the fourth session of my Python full stack development course. For them, I strongly recommend you just visit YouTube and in the search box, you can type DURGASOFT so that you will be able to get DURGASOFT YouTube channel. There you can able to find playlist. In that playlist, I strongly recommend to watch my 3 video lectures which I covered in the last lecture. So let me show you quickly how to watch my 3 video lectures which I covered in my previous lectures. So you just go to YouTube channel. So in the YouTube search, you can type DurgaSoft simply. Okay. You can type DurgaSoft and you can see this is the official website of Durga Software Solutions. This is our official YouTube channel and you can go to playlist. In that playlist, you can see my 3 video lectures full stack Python tutorials by Mr. Mohan Reddy at 9 p.m. IST. You can click on them. So immediately you will be able to get clearly 3 video lectures. Full stack Python tutorials demo 1, demo 2, demo 3. So we covered 3 demos as of now. This is the fourth session. So that's what who are new to this session. I strongly recommend to watch these 3 video lectures. But anyway, after completion of demos, 5 demo videos, 5 demo lectures, So you will be able to get these videos tutorial to your Google Drive undoubtedly. Okay. But if you are new to this session, if you are unable to understand this session, what I am going to explain, okay, so please, I strongly recommend my previous video tutorials, which I covered last three sessions, demo one, demo two, demo three, so that you can understand it. Who are following my lectures from the day one itself, they will get full clarity, no doubt at all. But who are new to this session, please watch this demo one, demo two, demo three. So if you can watch later this demo four session, so you'll be able to get clarity. Okay. So that's what who are new to this session. If you watch directly demo four session, if you may not understand this session, it's not my fault. Okay. So because we covered all three sessions, so you have to go with the flow of understanding process. So that's what I recommend demo one, demo two, demo three. You can watch orderly so that you will get full clarity in this session. Even after completion of this session, I strongly recommend to watch the demo four sessions clearly. Okay. So now in the last lecture, we launched PyCharm editor. So in this PyCharm editor, I just created a project. So that I am going to open right now. So let me open the PyCharm project right now. So let's go to search and you can see PyCharm community edition is there. 2024 community edition. The moment when I click on it, PyCharm community edition, so you will be able to get this PyCharm 2024 community edition. This is editor tool. What is editor means? Editor software is just to write Python program and execute Python program like this. So as a beginner, you must use proper editor so that you will get clarity in the initial stage. But I explained in the last lecture, we can able to write Python logic using interactive window, using script mode, using Python ideally. But you notice in the last lecture where in where I include these three options, interactive mode, script mode, Python ideally. So the options are very clear. So you need to write Python logic your own way. But they don't provide any support and there is no intelligence option mechanism. And as a programmer, we need to take our own risk. But in the initial stage of Python learning process, we don't know about Python rules and regulations. So that's what I strongly recommend to use a proper editor. So that is PyCharm editor. So we have already launched in the last lecture using PyCharm editor, how to write Python program and execute. So how to create a Python project. So what is the benefits of PyCharm editor means? There is completely GUI facilities. That means graphical user interface facilities are there. And when the moment we start writing Python program, so intelligence options will become and you can able to debug your Python program easily by step approach. So this is completely colorful window. So once we launch this PyCharm editor, look at this. I have already launched PyCharm editor in the last lecture. I have shown clearly how to download and install it. So we created two files in the last lecture. This is our Python project 9 p.m. test.py. I have written one simple code, print welcome, print hello, print hi, and test1.py. I have written A10 P20C equal to A plus B print C. Okay. But look at this. The moment when we want to run this program, test.py, I strongly recommend to right click on test.py and simply you can click on run test. So the moment when we click on run test, we are getting output called welcome, hello, hi. In case if you do any mistakes, suppose I'm not closing bracket properly. So look at this indication is very clear. So we don't see this indication, this type of indications in any other editors like ideally interactive window. and script mode. We will only see this indication if any mistakes are doing from the programmer side. So that indication is showing here only in PyCharmator. So here clearly the underlined red squigglies are available with Python project 9 pm test.py clearly. So the moment when we refresh this, so you can see the error is clearly says syntax error, bracket was never closed. That means, so you have not closed the bracket, that is the problem. So it will say clearly in which line the error is available. So line number 1 is error is there. So we have to close that bracket. So once after closing the bracket, once you refresh, you will get clear output clearly. So this is the advantage of Python PyCharm editor when we write programming in PyCharmator. But note this point, not only these advantages, no doubt at all, as a beginner, you are learning Python, okay? So you better to use proper editor so that you will get clarity how the way you need to write the Python program. Okay, if you can able to write code in Notepad also, which I have shown in the last lecture, but in the Notepad, what is the problem? We don't get any alerts. We don't get what we are doing mistakes in the initial stage. After execution of Python code only, you will come to know the errors. But in this PyCharm editor properly, so while the moment you are writing code only, you will come to know what you are doing mistakes. So on the spot, you can able to resolve the mistakes and you can feel free to run your program. Possibilities are there in PyCharm editor. Okay. So next, one more important advantage I'm going to explain. So you just look this code once, which I created in the last lecture, test1.py. So every .py file is act as a module. You can create any number of py files. So I just created in the last lecture one py file test.py, next py file test1.py. But look at this in test1.py. I am in test1.py right now. A10, B20, C equal to A plus B. I have written simple logic. A variable value is 10, B variable value is 20, C variable equals to A plus B. I am doing some operation A and B. I am doing addition of two numbers. So the moment when I try to print C, so when I run this program, so do you want to run this program test1.py? So right click on the tab on which file do you want to run, simply run test1. So we got 30 result because of A plus B, 10 plus 20, 30. But most of the people, uh, after getting output here, okay, so they might think that we have written the logic code perfectly. Yes, absolutely fine. You have written the logic code perfectly, no doubt at all. But you are not at all written this program in professional way. Yes, so that is where I can say, so you better to use proper editors to know the more programmatic rules and regulations. So by looking this code, it's very simple and straightforward. It's look good, but the way of writing approach is not good. Obviously, I can say that, but you may not be able to see this. Okay, but I can able to see this. Some underline squigglies are there. You can see there is a squigglies is there, and b equal to squigglies is there. It's showing some warnings, but this is not the way of writing code as a professional developer. Do you want to know that I would like to change my background theme of this PyCharm professional so that you will get clarity? So is this right way to do a programming part or not? I will tell you. So you just go to settings and just I want to change the theme. So background theme, but just showing light light theme I have included previously. Now I would like to go with the dark theme so that I can show you clearly what things are going to be changed. Are you able to notice A after under equal to symbol, some underline curved symbols are there or not? Yes, this is called squiggly. When I the moment when I place mouse pointer on squiggly, it is saying clearly PEP8 standard E225 missing white space around operator. What does it mean? Okay, so this is saying the warning. So what does it mean? It is, look at this, the moment when we place, so according to PEP standard, so every programming language is having its own standard. Python Enhancement Proposal Standard, that is PEP stands for Python Enhancement Proposal 8 Standard, missing white space around operator. So the code is working fine, the result is coming well, but the way of writing standard code is not correct. Okay, so you will come to know that clearly. So it is showing missing white space around operator. So as a programmer, what we can do? So we need to adjust the logic like this. A after, operator after, we have to write the space like this. So now we can see first line is very clear. So second line also, the operator symbol is equal to before operator, after operator, we have to give some space here. So it's very clear here. So we have to adjust the logic like this. But sir, you may get out. I have written already 20 to 30 lines of code. In every line, will I change the logic like this spaces around operator? No, sir. That's not correct. Look at this. I'm hitting Control Z, moving back my code. So simply the Python editor is allowing you can reformat or rearrange your style of code in correct format according to Python enhancement proposal standards. So when we place mouse pointer, there you can see this that the blue line indicating that reformatting the file. So the moment when I click on reformat the file, so automatically total program is reformatting here. So this is neat and clean code how the way you are writing here in reality. Okay. So this PyCharm editor advantage is this is one of the major advantage in PyCharm. So I can say everybody can write the logic code in Python, no doubt at all. But the way you are maintaining is matter in real time. Okay. So got my point. So that's what I strongly recommend to use proper editor like PyCharm editor, or you ask me like, sir, if I don't use PyCharm editor, what editor would you suggest? Means I can say Visual Studio Code. VS Code editor is one of the finest editor also. But you can see the moment when we use PyCharm editor, so automatically the variable after some space is required equal to operator after some space is required. So this is looking clean code. Okay, so you will come to know that what standard way you are writing the code in PyCharm editor is important. But imagine that you are new to a Python programming. If you are using Notepad editor or ideally, okay, or interactive window, what I shown in the last lecture. So they don't suggest you whether you are doing correct format or not. But output will come, no doubt at all. But it doesn't matter of output in reality, So everybody will write the logic code, but the professional developer, how they write logic code is important. So that's what. Why, sir? Is that required to compulsory follow the standard rules according to Python enhancement proposals? Yes, absolutely. Because if you want to become a professional developer, you must follow some standard rules what they suggest. So as your own way, if you go through this, so that's not correct way. See, most of the students they will apply jobs so as an experience or else fake experience. How they recognize you are really genuine experience candidate or fake experience candidate by the way of your writing code. So even if you claim you are 2 years or 3 years experience, so they can easily identify you the way of writing your code, whether you are following some standard rules or not, they can easily identify. If you follow, if you habituate the rules and regulations, what Python software foundation people are suggest that rules if you follow, then they can understand clearly. Yes, you are really experienced person. You are following some standard rules and regulations. You know how to write, how to approach the code writing skills. They can understand clearly. So that's what I strongly recommend to use proper editors. Okay, in the beginning or learning process. So most of the students ask me, sir, if I write code in PyCharm editor, there is intelligence is coming, so we can follow through them. So if I write code in Notepad, so I can improve my skill sets more. Yes, obviously, but at least in the few beginning days, so if you go through PyCharm or proper editor, so that you will come to know syntactical rules and regulations. After that, once you understand Python rules and regulations, okay, according to Python enhancement proposals, so you can able to write code in any editor, even Notepad, Edit Plus, Notepad plus plus, some data science programmers who are looking in Python with the data science, they use Jupyter, Spider, Atom, other editors. But I strongly recommend it. I strongly recommend to my all students who are new to the Python programming PyCharm editor because this flexibility will be there. So even they write logic code in PyCharm editor. So if they are doing mistakes, so it's clearly saying that indication by making red under underlines squigglies. So that means that is warnings will be alert. So you have to overcome that warnings. You have to write properly the code according to Python enhancement proposal. That's what I recommend PyCharm editor strongly. Okay. So even previously also I have written A equal to B equal 20, C equal to A plus B, we got output. But now how the code is look like, you can see this. So A after space, operator after, operator means equal to symbol, space like this. It's clearly neat code here. So that's what, so we got the output clearly here. Okay, but just because of that showing underlined red squigglies, so when I include the background theme normal white color, so it's not able to visible that squigglies. So that's what I changed the theme. So let's go back to our theme back again. So I strongly recommend to use light theme to make proper visibility. So this is the neat code. There is no underline squigglies are there here. Okay. So this is the main purpose of using PyCharm editor. So from now onwards, once the moment I create Python project 9 p.m. So you can create any number of files, test.py, test1.py, like this, many files you can include. Okay, so this is next. Before going to start, there are some fundamental concepts are there. Very important fundamental concepts are there in Python. But before going to start Python fundamentals, I need to discuss some important theoretical part, that is features of Python. In the last lecture, we have seen clearly what are the different ways to write Python program and execute using interactive mode, using script mode, using Python ideally. I have shown clearly step-by-step approach in my third video lecture. So finally, we launch with PyCharm. From now onwards, we will go with PyCharm. Okay. But the moment when we go to interactive window, script window, Python ideally, you don't get any intelligence option, so there is no suggestions. As a programmer, we need to take our own risk how the way you are writing Python program. That's what, as a beginner, as a new to Python programming, I strongly suggest you to use proper editor like PyCharm editor. Even in real time also, most of the Python programmers, they use PyCharm editor. In case, okay, if you ask me, Sir, if I don't want to use PyCharm editor, what editor will you suggest means? I can suggest you Visual Studio Code. VS Code also is the best editor for PyCharm. But in reality, most of the companies are preferred to use PyCharm editor. That's what throughout my all lectures, even core and advanced Python purpose, Django purpose, REST API purpose, Flask purpose, even I can use PyCharm editor for UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and also I can use database connectivity purpose also PyCharm editor. Okay, so that's what. But right now we are focusing on completely core and advanced Python. That's what we will focus on PyCharm Community Edition. The moment once we complete core and advanced Python 45 days to 50 days. After that, when we go to web development process with Python frameworks like Django, REST API, Flask, UI technologies, and also MySQL and SQL3 databases, at that time, I will introduce you PyCharm Professional Editor, not PyCharm Community. Community also possible to develop web application development, but some drawbacks are there. That's what we recommend PyCharm Professional. Okay. So before going to enter more details into this Python topics, so I would like to explain some basic features of Python, sir. Okay. So features of Python. After introducing a way of writing code in different editors. Okay. So features of Python is very important because you must know about what are the main features of Python. The first feature is easy to learn. Yes, this is the first feature of Python, sir. Easy to learn and use. Easy to learn and use. Python is easy to learn and use because it is developer friendly and high level programming language. As I said that why Python became a popular language means it's having simple syntax. Any programmer or any person or any student can understand easily because it's a straightforward syntax. So when compared to other languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, .NET, Python syntaxes are very simple. Okay, that's what I said, easy to learn and use it. So next feature is Python is expressive language. Python is expressive language. What is expressive language? Language. So Python language is more expressive, means that is more understandable and readable format. So we can read Python statements or Python program statements like how we are going to read English language statements, same like we can read because there is no much more complex syntax. Next feature is Python is interpreted programming language. Already we discussed in my previous session interpreted programming language. Interpreted language it is. Yes, interpreted language. So interpreted language means Python is interpreted language that is interpreter executes the code line by line at a time. So this makes debugging mechanism will be easy and it's suitable for beginners. Suppose you are the beginners just because of interpreted language, how the program is going to run line by line, you can understand easily step by step mechanism. As I said in my previous lecture, like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, .NET, those languages are compiler-based languages. Compiler means what? Whole program at a time will check and execute how many number of errors are there. It will disclose to you. The moment when we say Python, it is interpreted. Just because of interpreted, it will execute line by line. Each line, you can understand it clearly what's going to happen. So it's a programmer friendly, undoubtedly. just because of interpreted. Python is an interpreted language. Interpreted executes the code line by line at a time. You will come to know each line what's going to happen. That means debugging or tracing Python program become easy. Next feature is the fourth feature of Python is cross-platform. Yes, cross-platform, or we can say this is also platform independent. Platform independent. Cross-platform or platform independent. So Python code can run equally on different platforms such as Windows, Linux, Unix, and macOS. So we can say that Python is a portable language which can be run on any platform. So even we can able to shift our code from one platform to another platform, it can be easily run. So it's a cross platform or platform independent. So if you have in your computer, if you have any operating system like Windows or Unix or Linux or Mac OS, no doubt at all, you just feel free to install Python software and run it. So it's completely cross platform and platform independent. It can be run anywhere. So only the matter is which OS you are having. That is platform independent. And most important feature is what Python is completely free and open source. Yes, Python is completely free and open source. Python language is freely available at official website www.python.org, which I have already discussed in my previous lecture. So when I download and install Python software, you have seen already. So www.python.org when we visit. So they don't ask any license and any terms and conditions and any payment things. So you can feel free to download the software and install it clearly. So that's what it's completely free and open source. Open source means the source code of any topic of Python also freely available in python.org. So you can collect it and use in your development process. So this is free and open source. The source code is also available. So it's completely open source to everybody. And next, another feature is Python is object oriented language. Object oriented language. Yes. As I said in my previous lecture, so we will be follow in Python, especially three language paradigms. One is structured oriented. Yes, we will be discuss more detail in data structures of Python like list, set, string, tuple, range, dictionary, bytes, byte array, and so on. Many data structures are there. And Python is functional oriented. Functions means reusability process is available. One time you generate the code and many times you can able to reuse them whenever it is required. And Python is object oriented language. So when your programming language is object oriented, it's more security and it's more reusability. Securely, we can able to reuse your language. Python supports completely object oriented language and concept of classes and objects come into the existence means so we will be able to create classes, we will be able to create objects. So the moment when we say the programming language is object oriented, it's more secure and it's more reusability. Okay, so these are all the major important features here. Next, Python is extensible programming language. Extensible, what is the meaning of extensible? So, for example, it is going to be implies other languages like such as C, C++ can be used to compile the code and it can be used further in our Python code. Suppose you are the C programmer, so you have written C language code. Suppose you are C++ programmer, You have written C++ language code. Suppose you are a .NET programmer, you have written .NET code, Java programmer, you have written Java code. That can be implies into Python language. So we can extend the other languages code with Python, but make sure that for that we have to use some flavors. So C programmers, if they want to implies the code in Python, they use C Python flavor. .NET programmers, if they want to write the code in .NET language, they want extends with Python, they should use Iron Python flavor. Java programmers, if they want to extend their logic into Python standards, they should use a flavor called JPython. So if they use flavors, they can easily extensible their code into Python standards. That's what extensible feature is there in Python. That means programmers can come with any code, any language code, but they can extend with Python standard. For that, we need to use flavors of Python only. Like C++ programmers, they should use C Python flavor, and Java programmers, they should use JPython flavor. .NET programmers, they should use Iron Python flavor. So this is extensible feature. Next, Python is having huge standard libraries. Another feature is what? Huge standard library. Huge standard library. Huge standard library. I said already. So why Python became a popular language nowadays means just because of the moment when we download and install Python software, it's offering us huge standard library. So it will be come with huge standard libraries in the context of different languages like data science libraries may come, gaming libraries may come, embedded system programming libraries, VLSI, MATLAB, NumPy, network programming, testing libraries, all will come directly. So just because of huge standard libraries only, we can say Python is a popular language nowadays because it's a general purpose language. We can develop any type of application. So Python offers us different types of applications libraries so that once we are in Python language, so as a programmer, we can develop any type of application because it's offer huge standard libraries in the context of different applications. Python has a large and broad library and provides rich set of modules and functions for rapid application development. Rapid application development means at faster rate of application development. So you have already ready-made resources are available. So programmer directly they can consume it and implement it. If they don't provide rich libraries, so imagine that you have to prepare the library code from scratch. It will take time. After that, that library code you have to use it in your programming. It will take time. So that's what Python became a popular language just because of already ready-made resources are a lot in the context of libraries. So that libraries directly programmers they can use in their application development. So their task will be easy. So you can imagine that previously uh, network engineers, most of the network engineers, they used to write the code in C++ to fulfill their requirements in network programming. But nowadays, the people are moving around Python because Python is offering more rich libraries of networking. So their task will be easy. Even the embedded programmers or VLS programmers or MATLAB programmers, they use previously C++ logics in their application development. But nowadays they are looking forward for Python. Why? Because Python is offering better features than other languages. So that's what it's become a popular language. It's offer huge standard libraries or uh, predefined resources or ready-made resources for any context of applications. And next one is Python is completely GUI support. Yes, sir. GUI support means graphical user interface applications also we can develop using Python. So GUI means what, like for example, I'm trying to open calculator, Windows calculator. So this is GUI, graphically user interfaces. So even it is standalone, sir, not web application, but it's a standalone. It's limited to only one particular system. But just example, gaming applications or calculator programming or standalone application within the internal organization purpose, the application like payroll management system, library management system, okay? So internal school management system, within the school or within the college or within the hospital or within the organization, do you want to generate application with graphical user interface? Using Python through, we can able to develop using GUI support. So that is with tkinter module. Yes, tkinter module through, we can develop GUI support. In our session, we will be covered GUI support with the tkinter module also. Tkinter means this is graphical user interface support, sir. But it is a standalone, not web application. It's a standalone. We will be covered tkinter module also in our session for sure, no doubt at all. Okay. The 10th application, 10th feature is so integrated. Yes. Python is having a feature called integrated application development. Yes, integrated. So it can be easily integrated with languages like C, C++, and Java and .NET, etc. So whatever you have known languages like C, C++, Java, .NET, etc., we can integrate that logic code into this Python language only. So these are the most important features of Python. Okay. And coming to the application area of Python, as I said in my previous lecture, so what is the application area of Python? So Python is a general purpose programming language. So that means we can develop many applications. What kind of applications we can build using Python? First application I'm saying, using Python, we can develop standalone, standalone or desktop applications. Standalone or desktop application. So I will explain you clearly what is standalone and desktop applications are. Standalone or desktop application means the application which we implemented. After that, it can be run on only one particular machine or particular computer is called standalone or desktop application. But standalone application can be of two types. CUI based. CUI. CUI means command user interface or character user interface. Yes, command user interface or character user interface. Character user interface. Yes. So this is CUI. So this is command prompt application. Next one is GUI. GUI based. Graphical user interface. Just now I have shown that. So Windows calculator, graphical user interface or gaming applications. So these two are standalone or a desktop applications. Got my point? So using Python, which applications we can able to implement means standalone or desktop applications, that is CUI based, command user interface or character user interface. GUI based, graphical user interface. So character user interface means every time we are going to input in the form of characters and we are going to get output also in the form of characters, that is command prompt application. Graphical user interface means we are going to interact with some design like text boxes, labels, buttons, like that. Just now I have shown Windows calculator, no? So that is graphical user interface applications. So standalone application means completely command prompt. Graphical user interface means so GUI, like tkinter module through we can implement GUI. But GUI means don't think so it is a web application. So GUI is also under comes into the web application, but that is different. Using Python, we can also develop web application. Yes, web applications. So this is possible with what you know, Django framework, which I explained in my previous lecture. So Django framework through only we can develop web applications. Web application is completely GUI, but these application also called as what applications, you know, distributed. Yes, distributed or online applications. Yes. So we can develop using Python web applications with a Django framework along with Python, that also called as distributed applications or online applications. Why? Because the moment when we develop web applications with Python and Django, so once we launch this web application on the server, so throughout the world, around the world, they can type your website in the URL address through internet connection. They can access your content. So that is web applications, Django or distributed applications or online application. So using Python, we can develop web applications with the Django framework. These are also called as distributed or online applications. And using Python, we can develop standalone or a desktop application for only CUI based, means command user interface or character user interface, a command prompt application. GUI based means Windows calculator or internal organization purpose, payroll management system or hospital management system or library management system or school management system. For one particular organization purpose, do you want to generate application with only Python GUI based with tkinter module is enough. But web application purpose compulsory what frameworks are required, sir? Django. Django framework is required, server is required, client is required, and many more required additional libraries. So next, third application is using Python, we can develop data analysis applications. Data analysis applications using pandas and matplotlib, matplotlib and numpy. So remember, sir, this is very important notification to you all. In our Python core and advanced, who are even if you are looking for Python core and advanced, you will be able to get pandas knowledge, matplotlib, matplotlib knowledge, and numpy knowledge. So pandas is by default in Python only. Pandas, Python data analysis. Matplotlib is for Python data visualization. NumPy stands for numerical Python. Okay, so it's a by default part of the pandas and matplotlib and NumPy. These three libraries are compulsory. We need to include in Python language. Okay, so most of the people will think that these are the additional things. So they are trying to highlight pandas, matplotlib, numpy separately, but it doesn't make sense because these are obviously discussing things, pandas and matplot, numpy only. So even we will teach in our curriculum pandas and matplotlib, numpy, Python core and advanced. Okay, so note this point clearly what I'm saying. So data analysis programming under comes into pandas and matplotlib and numpy. So no need to highlight of these things, pandas and matplotlib and numpy, because these are obvious libraries to discuss in core and advanced Python. Okay, how we are going to discuss all fundamentals and intermediate things and other things. Okay, so I don't really think so how the people are going to highlight this pandas and matplotlib and numpy. Okay, it doesn't make sense to highlight this pandas and matplotlib and numpy because every trainer should include this pandas and matplotlib and numpy compulsory. Without this, so there is no meaning of Python core and advanced. So I hope you understand that. So I will be able to cover pandas in detail, matplotlib in detail, numpy in detail in our curriculum. That is in data analysis programming. So pandas for data analysis, matplotlib for data visualization, numpy is completely depends on pandas and matplotlib. This pandas and matplotlib over the top of numpy and numerical Python programming. So don't forget, I will also cover pandas and matplotlib and numpy clearly. Next, another thing is network programming. Network programming. So we can also develop network programming applications, and using Python, we can also develop statistical analysis. Statistical analysis, yes. And using Python, we can develop gaming applications. Yes, mostly gaming application with quick interprogramming, gaming applications. Using Python, we can develop embedded programming, embedded programming. And next, using Python, we can develop testing. Yes, previously they were asking testing with C#.NET or testing with Core Java. So now the people are asking to use Selenium with Python. Means Selenium is the testing tool which is integrated with Python. So if you know the Python with related testing like Selenium, so you'll have the opportunities like testing, test cases also we can able to write with Python. So web application development, standalone application development, network programming, statistical analysis, gaming application, embedded programming, testing programming, and most important case I can say AI, artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning, and even DevOps. Yes, DevOps, and next AWS, Amazon Web Services, development and operations. In these areas also, Python is rapidly used programming language. You know, so yeah, so data analysis will come from Python core and advanced only, sir. No problem. So that's what I said. These modules, very important modules who are looking for data analysis programming in future after learning Python completion. So if you are looking for data science, so we will give prior idea about pandas and matplotlib and numpy. These three modules we will be majorly focused in core and advanced, not in frameworks. It will not come under Django, REST API, Flask and other things. Don't worry. We will be covering core and advanced only these three modules clearly. No doubt at all. Okay. So these are the application areas of Python. Once we learn Python, where we can use, and many more applications also is there, Internet of Things, IoT, and other applications also. But major application, major areas I covered here where we can use Python clearly. Okay, so this is application area of Python and features of Python clearly, and what are the possible ways to write Python program and execute. What is the importance of using PyCharmator? I discussed in this session. In the tomorrow session, this is the last demo of your session. So this is the fourth session of your demo. Tomorrow it will be fifth session of demo. I'm going to cover in tomorrow session fundamentals, fundamentals in Python. So whatever the fundamentals things need to be required to use, that I'm going to cover. Very, very important, sir. Fundamental concepts I'm going to cover in tomorrow session. That is, first fundamental is Python indentation, indentation, and second fundamental concept is Python comment section, and third fundamental concept is Python keywords, and fourth fundamental concept is Python identifiers, identifiers, and fifth fundamental concept is Python variables, and sixth fundamental concept is Python multiple assignment. So don't miss that session. Tomorrow also very important. This is the last demo of your session. After the demo session, tomorrow after completion of these fundamental concepts, Python indentation, comments, keywords, identifiers, variables, and multiple assigns. So tomorrow after you will be able to finish the demo session, 5 demo sessions over. Then day after tomorrow, Saturday, if you would like to continue my lectures and attend the continuation sessions, so you must enroll for my course. Okay, I said from the beginning onwards, you can feel free to take the decisions. No problem after covering all these 5 sessions. This is the fourth session. Even if you attend tomorrow's sessions, you will get clarity about these fundamentals. So if you're really interested to join my sessions, so after tomorrow demo sessions, then day after tomorrow onwards, do you want to attend my sessions? You must enroll for this course. There is no option for you. Okay. So feel free to take the decision. I said in the last lecture also, if we are uh, looking for any other institutes or other organizations or other trainers, you can feel free to attend those sessions also. If you really impress with that sessions, you can go through them. But if you don't impressed with that sessions, and if you like my sessions, you don't feel hesitate to come back to my sessions. Feel free to come at any time. Okay, our DurgaSoft team will help that regarding that. So this is the today's sessions details, and tomorrow we will be continue fundamentals of Python. So tomorrow is the last demo sessions. So after completion of tomorrow last demo session, it's time to take the decisions whether you like to join my sessions or not. You can take, feel free to take the decisions, no force at all. Okay. And now it's time, your turn to ask any questions. So I can tell you all the answers clearly regarding your questions. Please go ahead. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, even in the chat box. Siva Kalyani, you raised the hand. Do you have any question?
I just have question on the extensions, but it was got answered in your lecture. Thank you.
Fine, fine. Yes. So after completion of tomorrow demo session, so we have recorded 5 video lectures. Even day after tomorrow onwards, our team will send the paid link. So once your payment is going to be takes place, so these 5 recorded videos I'll upload to your Google Drive along with core Python PDF material. So the material and videos will come from my personal mail ID. So DurgaSoft will not share the recorded videos and any PDF after demo sessions. So everything will be handled from my side only. Okay. Even if possible, I will create one WhatsApp group uh, for this batch students only. So we can feel free to interact with the questionnaires and daily exercise programmings, and any doubts and issues we will be resolved from our side. Okay. So everything we will be take care during 4 to 4.5 months, because you are valuable, my students. So I can help you regarding technical things at any extent level if you go through my lectures properly. So that is, I'll take care of that. So that's all about today. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice time. Tomorrow is the last session of demo. So after tomorrow, you must enroll for this course if you're really interested to join my course. Or else you can feel free to go to other trainers or other organizations. But whenever you go to them also, even if you feel my sessions are good, you can don't hesitate to come back my sessions. Please contact to DurgaSoft. They will allow to you to join my sessions. Have a nice time. If anything, is there any questions to ask, you can feel free to ask. I'll wait here for 1 more minute. Yeah. So see you tomorrow. Have a nice time.